In a little town in Ohio, there was a little workshop which belonged to Billy and Bobby. Under the table of this workshop, there lived a little skeleton.
Her name was Melody Bones.
Every night, she gave the chair a little squeak. And she gave the keyboard a low tune.
And Bobby and Billy knew it was time to close the workshop and go home.
And Dracula the vampire bat knew it was time to stay guard. And as for Frankenstein, the janitor, he knew it was time to clean the workshop.
And so it went with everything as it should be.
Until Billy took it into his head to put the chairs on top of the table
and turn off the keyboard.
And so the chair did not squeak.
And so the keyboard wouldn't play anymore.
And Bobby and Billy didn't know it was time to close up the workshop and go home.
And Dracula, he did not know when it was time to stand guard anymore.
And as for Frankenstein, he didn't know when to clean the workshop, and it just got messy. Melody Bones went under the table and moped.
That was a fine how do you do.
Pretty soon, though, Melody Bones decided to find some other shop to haunt.
But while he ran to this shop,
and then to that shop,
each shop only had a skeleton.
The only shop in the whole town which didn't have a skeleton was the Tinkering Penguin Club.
But that was so awfully gloomy and crowded.
The big kids groaned so.
and the computers moaned so.
And besides, the owner himself was such a crotchety old man, he nearly frightened Melody Bones to death.
So Melody Bones ran away
to a staple store where there lived a tarantula. But the tarantula paid no attention to Melody Bones. He just ate his flies all day, and it wasn't much fun. Meanwhile, a lot of time went by, and it rained a good deal.
And during the winter, it snowed a good deal.
And at the staple store, Melody Bones was terribly cold and uncomfortable.
But with the dampness from the rain and the coolness from the snow, something happened to that chair on the tables and to the power on the keyboard. It was Frankenstein who discovered it, and he told Dracula, and he got a mop and a broom. Dracula went right over to the stable store to tell Melody Bones that the chair was on the floor again.
And the keyboard turned on again.
What great news that was for Melody Bones. She ran right to the workshop. Lickety-split. The same old time, the chair squeaked again.
And the keyboard played again.
And Bobby and Billy knew it was time to go leave the workshop and go home again.
And Dracula, he knew when to begin to stand guard again.
And as for Frankenstein, he knew when it was time to clean the messy workshop again. Thank goodness.
Cut!
Go.
In a little town in Ohio, there was a workshop which belonged to Kyle.
In the cage of the workshop, there lived a little mummy.
His name was Tinker Mummy Man.
Every night, the same time, he gave the chair a little creak.
And he gave the cage door a little squeak. And Kyle knew when it was time to close up the workshop and go home.
And Mr. Firebreath the dragon knew it was time to stand guard.
And as for Emily the cat, she knew it was time to clean the workshop.
And so has everything that it should be.
Until Kyle took it into his head to oil the cage door.
And to wax the floors.
And so the cage door did not squeak.
And so the chair did not creak.
And Kyle didn't know when it was time to close the workshop and go home.
And Mr. Firebreath, he didn't know when it was time to thank God anymore. And as for Emily the cat, she didn't know when it was time to clean the workshop, and it just got messy.
And Tinker Mummy Man sat and moped. That was a fine how you do.
Tinker Amy, reporting from Tinker Camp Filmmaking
decided to
2015.
find some
We're
other
interviewing Kyle the scientist, aka.
But why he ran to this
What
shop?
is your name, sir?
And then to that
Mason.
shop,
What is the hardest
And
thing that you
each shop
find
already
about
had a ghost.
filmmaking?
the only shop in the whole town which didn't have a
Oh
Mummy
my, he's
was
not saying anything.
Staples.
To you, Emily the cat,
But that
aka
was so awful.
Aisha, what do you consider the most difficult thing
Copy
about
machine
filmmaking?
groaned so.
And we would like to know, what do you find the most difficult?
And besides, the owner himself was such a crotchety old man, he nearly frightened Mummy Man to death. So Mommy Man ran away.
We do not
To a
speak his
creek where they
language.
lived a fish.
Sir, do you speak English?
But the fish paid no attention to the Mummy Man. He just swam around, and it wasn't much fun. Meanwhile, a lot of time went by, and it rained a good deal.
And during the winter, it snowed a good deal.
At the creek, Mummy Man was thoroughly cold and uncomfortable.
But with the dampness from the rain and
What is the most
coolness
difficult
from the
thing
snow,
about filmmaking?
First, Zach.
something happened
Zach
to
is the most
that
difficult thing. Okay,
door
why
on
is
the
Zach
cage.
difficult?
And to the legs on the chair.
It was Emily the cat who discovered it and told Mr. Firebreath.
Because the script is always
And
easy
Mr.
to learn it,
Firebreath
but
went right
if you
over
don't have
to
it when you're learning it, then it's
the
really
shop to tell
Okay.
Mommy Man that the door was loose again.
And
He's doing
and
You have to do all
that
that
the
work
chairs were squeaky
on
again.
the movie.
What great news that was for
And
Mommy
then
Man.
when the movie's done,
And
it takes
so,
a really long
at
time to
the
get the movie
Same old
and on
time,
TV.
What do you find
the
the most
chairs
difficult
creaked
thing about
again,
filmmaking at Tinker
and the cage
2015?
door squeaked again.
It's
And Kyle
about
knew
that
it was
there's so
time to
much
go leave
stuff
the
you have to
workshop
do,
and go
like,
home
You
again.
have to play
And
as,
Mr.
like, certain
Firebreath
character,
knew
the
when to
character
stand
has to know
to
a lot.
begin to stand guard again.
And as for Emily the cat, she knew when it was time to clean the messy workshop again.
Thank goodness.